Okay, dear students, we are back to our new session, history, lesson number 2. Now, now we are going to start next topic, Harun the Just. Harun al-Rashid was the fifth caliph of Abbasid Caliphate. Harun al-Rashid, he was the fifth king of Abbasid dynasty. He ruled the late 8th, the early 9th century. That is what his time period. Late 8th century, then to the early 9th century. His reign, his time period is considered the peak of the period of often referred to as the Islamic Golden Age. Okay, this is what the golden era of the Islamic religion or rule. He ensured peace, prosperity, and political stability. What did he do? He made sure the peace, prosperity, and political stability for his people, and patronized poetry, art, and music, and he supported and he gave strong support to the poetry, art, and music. He maintained a very lavish court, which is reflected in the stories of a Thousand and One Night. 1001 Night, 1001 Night. That is a book, Islamic book, that is filled a complete story. That book tells what the stories, number of stories, continuous 1001 night, one queen continuously she says story, and this is known as 1100 night. That we can say so. That book have another name, that is Arabian Night. It is said that Harun al-Rashid often went out in disguise at night to see for himself the conditions in which his people lived. This king, Harun al-Rashid, he went out at night time by changing his dresses, and for what purpose he went like this by disguise? For to know what is the condition of his own people and his own country. And he built the famous library in Baghdad called Bait al-Hikam, House of Wisdom. In English we can say so, House of Wisdom. That is what the library's name. He was known for his sense of justice and wisdom. He was known for what? Famous for his justice as well as wisdom. There is a legend that once there was a dispute between two women. There is a story. What is that? Dispute between two women, both claiming to be the mother of a newborn baby. Both of them was claiming for the mothership of that newborn baby. When the case was brought before the Harun al-Rashid, he said that the baby should be cut into two equal halves. Then he had said that the baby should be cut into equal halves. The first woman agreed, but the second woman was alarmed and said, "Oh no, the other could have the baby, but no harm should come to the baby." And what he was saying? He said, "Let us cut this baby into two parts and we'll divide to each other." Then one mother, she agreed, okay, you do it. And second mother, what she said, "Don't do it because a child should not get any harm. You give it to her." Then he understood that who is the real mother, one who is not willing to cut. That is what the real mother of it. Harun al-Rashid understood that the second woman was the mother and handed over the baby to her. And that is what his wisdom and justice, literature and philosophy. The splendor of Abbasid court in the 8th and the 9th centuries under the great caliph Uh, Harun al-Rashid inspired many legends. He had a quote on that quote. Many of the scholars, legends, they were there to assist him, and um, that there such legends later found place in the stories of the Thousand and One Night. The Arab also translated the literary work from other parts of the world. Then what did they do? The Arabian people, they translated the other countries' work to Arabian language. And the Sanskrit work, Panchatantra, for instance, was translated into Arabic as Khaliyak wa Diman. It was later known as Europe as a fable of Pilpai after the narrator Vidyapath. Vidyapath or Vidyavadi. Islamic poetry in the Persian language attained a great height around the 12th century. Yes, a work of worldwide fame is the Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam. Mm. Muslim philosophers were deeply influenced by the rational ideas of Greek philosophers, especially Aristotle. They translated a number of Greek philosophical works into their language. Mm. The Arabian people, what they do? They have translated so many books of a Greek philosopher to the into the Arabian language. Then science, Muslim scientists initially studied and translated Greek and Indian works, astronomy, astrology, and medicine. Later, they made new contributions in these fields, and they have studied Greek philosophy, Greek science, as well as same time Indian science and astronomy, astrology, and these all things. Based on this, they found new versions and new contributions to the world. The Arabs made great progress in the use of lenses and built observations that provide accurate astronomical data. They found out that the earth rotates on its own axis and revolves around the sun. And this also, they have earth rotates on its own axis, and this also have said by who is a Arabian scientist. Arab philosopher, scientists like Rhazes and Ibn Sina made great contribution in the field of diagnosing diseases. In medical field also, these philosophers like Rhazes and Ibn Sina, these two philosophers gave great contributions in the field of science. Then the Arab rulers built hospitals and encouraged the study of medicine. Ibn Sina's work in the canon of medicine was used in many medical schools. And still, this Ibn Sina's work, that book's name is Canon of Medicine, was still we are using. We are following many of the medical schools. Then, alchemists, medieval chemical scientists searched for the philosopher's stone, which they believed could turn common metals into gold. Mm. In the process, they discovered new metals, then drugs and other substances. They attained great expertise in chemistry and preparing medicines. Now let us go to mathematics. The Arabs borrowed the decimal system and the concept of zero from India. In the Indian numbers were introduced in Europe by the Arabs. So, what they are the Arabs borrowed decimal system from the concept from India. We know that zero was invented by Aryabhatta, and these Arabian people they borrowed and introduced this one in Europe, and from hence came to be called Hindu-Arabic numerals. And the Arabs invented algebra. They also learned Greek concepts of geometry and made remarkable progress in trigonometry. Okay, Now, architecture and art. Islamic architecture flourished under the Byzantine and Persian ruler. Okay, like they built places, libraries, education institution, hospital, mosque, and tombs. So, dear students, have a nice day. Take care. Thank you.